Okay, we're live. So, welcome back to yet another coming home conversations here in Women Over 50. It's time to come home to yourself. I'm Julie Scott, your fearless leader. And today I have the absolute honor to have such a wonderful woman here with me. It is Katie Slimko. She is the president and CEO of the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce. And I live here in the Coachella Valley. So, we know each other in person, and she's just such a what a force you are as a woman. You're a powerhouse, and I admire you, and you inspire me, and you're gorgeous, obviously. So you just have it
Oh,
all.
thanks.
You're this full package, but um, yeah, and I want to say she's also what we call the resident Pollyanna. She's a positive person, just like me, and that's why we clicked. And she has a story, her own story of her the last few years of her life. She's gone through some struggles, and I just thought her story would be powerful for the group to hear. So I'm just going to kind of let you start, Katie, wherever you want
Mhm.
to start in your timeline to bring us into the shifts and changes you've gone through lately.
Sure. Well, gosh, thank you for that introduction. Thanks for having me today. And thanks to all the viewers that are out there. I think what you're doing is really special. The more that we, hear from each other, our stories, our pain points, the struggles we've gone through, there's so much
Yep.
hope and knowledge, wisdom and love in that really can pull people through. So it's been a real pleasure. My story, I think of it as a really positive one at the end of the day, like how you introduced me. Grew up in San Diego. My father was a firefighter, my mother a nurse. They had both they've been divorced quite a while and remarried a few times. And so growing up, I always just was hopeful of a forever marriage, and that was always really important to me.
Yep.
We fell on some hard times when my mom was in her single years, and I think I got to share with you one on one. We spent some time in a battered women's shelter in downtown
Mm,
San Diego,
yep.
and that was though one of those first times when I looked at life and we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. There was no victim mentality in that situation. It was, we are so grateful that there are people here to take care of us during this time. And
Mm,
that was how my mom was. She's just a really strong woman. And so she really passed that us on to us three girls. And it really was a message of there were people that gave back to us in a time when we needed it. It's now our duty and our responsibility to give back to others throughout life as well. And so, going through that hard time, I was in high school, and so that was really difficult. But at the same time, I know it was challenging. We knew it was traumatic. We would talk about it often, but we also knew that we would come rise above it and we would stop a cycle of violence, which was really important to all of
mm.
us. Yes. Yeah, just one of those times you'll never forget, but you're grateful for because it's who you are today.
Yes.
Um, so cutting to, my past 10, 11 years of marriage, um, and which has recently dissolved. That was such an interesting time. I was definitely in love, definitely excited to have such a strong partnership and really believe in my heart in marriage and, it,
Mhm.
it should last forever and all of those things. And that's something I'm still diving into, even when you're going through hard times. When do you know it's the right time to go? I still don't have answers for those things, but um, it really started to deteriorate and fall apart. I would say about 5 years ago, and I was
Mhm.
just hanging on for everything that I could. It's kind of like if you had a plant that was dying and you would just paint it green and say, "Look, everything's fine. It's fine."
I've been there, done that too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it did finally dissolve, and he left, and that was interesting because of all the things that happened in the marriage. It gave me all the reasons to leave, and so I'm still learning about myself. Why would I have stayed? Why? I had all of those reasons to go. And so I'm still unpacking those things, but I look back and I look back with a lot of, I'm proud of how I showed up in our marriage. I'm really proud of how I did deal with some of the heartbreak and disappointments and hardships that we went through. And so I do feel good about being able to look back and say I showed up as a good person as many days as I could and tried to do my best job. So going through that divorce process, really hard. And I would kind of compare myself to other people and say, well, it's not as bad as so and so, and it's not as bad as so
Mm,
and so. And I know others have had it worse. And one day my sister just said, Katie, don't discount, what you did go through though. It's,
yeah.
you can acknowledge it and you can, honor that time and that hard. And so I did.
Can
And
I ask
this
you a
is,
quick, I
yeah,
want to ask you a quick
please.
question. Well, one of the things I was just thinking about, because I left my husband. I was the one that left.
Hmm.
And I think it's a common thought that that the person who is left is in the worst spot, or which person is in more pain, the that is left or the one that leaves. And I, for one, can say that it was so painful for me to leave.
Yeah.
Did you have to go through something just to kind of get your head around? Were you expecting him to leave, or did it just come? How did that all kind of come down?
Yeah, I was kind of in that waiting game period, but what had happened was, for the first time, I had finally started putting up boundaries. And
Mm,
that is what the game changer was. I thought, well, I can't change him. I can only control what I'm going to do and how I show up. And I really started to just dive in, and I read so many self-help books and personal
mm,
development, and I started to learn about codependency. And I was like, oh, a whole world opened up when I learned who Melody Beattie was and started reading her books.
yes.
And I thought,
Oof.
oh, that's me. Hi. And so as soon as I started putting up boundaries,
Mm,
that is when the shift happened. And
mm,
that is when I think, no, that is when I know that he decided he was going to go.
ah,
And so, and that's also something I felt proud of. Like, hey, I stuck up for myself, and I will do that
yes.
again and again. And now moving forward, I know I have these boundaries. They're healthy and they're strong and they make sense. And I don't have to go through that again where I have to build them up. I have them, and
Yes.
very healthy. And so, yeah, and I think he was also, my mother had also gotten very ill.
Mm,
And he was also, I think, afraid. This is just me looking back. He's never told me this, but I think he
sure.
was wanting to go, but was afraid to leave, knowing that my mom was ill and there was so much happening. And so he did wait until after she passed and after we had her celebration. It was about 2 days after that where he just said, I
Mm,
had then put up another boundary that morning and said, here's something that is just no longer acceptable. And he said, I'm out. I'm done. I want a divorce. I'm going to go. And he's one of those people that he means what he says and does what he says. I knew it wasn't just, he's going to come back around or anything. We're going to work on anything. And that was the other key thing that I did want to share too is we went to our pastor and did get some advice and feedback, and all of the things that they asked us to do were things that he was just not willing to. And I
mm,
knew I knew then too that sent me a sign that I need to find someone who's willing to actually dive in and do the work that has to happen to make not just your life great, but our life great. Who's
yeah.
willing to double down on me, like I'm going to double down on them. And so there were definitely clear signs out there. But it's funny how when you go through times like that too, you still, I still didn't know which end was up, but I thought, I'm a Christian, and I just would pray and I would say, God, I'm just going to let you lead. I'm going to let you kind of guide this, lead me. I can't read between the lines necessarily on everything. I'm not sure what to do, so I'm just going to let go and let God. And those types of conversations with my higher power really helped me through that time.
Oh, how bad. I mean, and I have to say, during my own divorce, I was not, because I grew up in a Christian home,
Hmm.
and the religion was so, I mean, when I was a child, I enjoyed going to church and the idea of God and everything, and it was a very pure understanding and it made me feel safe, and it was a very good connection that I had. But as I got older, the oppression or the heaviness of religion, the guilt, the you know,
Hmm.
as an adolescent, I mean, it's very difficult it was for me to deal with that. And my father was a deacon in the church and very,
Wow.
involved, and so I just kind of moved away from it
Mm.
in my mind. I still
Mhm.
played along and did all the things, but it
Mhm.
wasn't until after I left my husband that I came around and got and reconnected with my sense of spirituality, not religion.
Mhm.
And I can just see how it would have been so helpful if I had made that connection before that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Because to have a spiritual to just to know that there's something bigger and stronger, a higher power, as you said, it's just takes so much of the
Mm.
weight off
Yeah.
of you because you can really hand it over to
Oh, yeah.
to something that can actually handle it and take care of you. I mean, that's what a blessing that you have your spirituality, because that really makes such a huge difference, I think, in our lives. We have
Oh,
to think beyond this world because
yes.
it isn't just this,
Yeah. And
right?
what you just described, and something I really learned in that year, was surrender. That to
Oh,
me felt like the word. And I kept thinking, maybe I'm not getting it. And I had a friend that said, stop overthinking it. It's just surrender, and just keep saying, I surrender. And so I did. And I was like, there were times I could feel my hands in little fists, but and I would just say, just surrender, let it go, and be grateful. What can you be grateful for today? And so I have several journals that I would just write and write and write in, and sometimes they were not nice letters. I got my anger out there, but I got my gratitude list there, and I really did start to finally get in the habit of journaling, because all you ladies out there who journal regularly, I did not know how you did it. I was like, I don't really know what to write about. Is anyone going to read this? I don't know. I'm probably an overthinker, as you could tell. And
no,
so,
no. It's common. It's common. I remember when I first started journaling, I was like, I had a bagel for breakfast.
yeah,
La, la, la. I'm like, what am I writing?
so funny. But once that ball does get rolling, man,
Yes,
it's amazing. And then I go back. Oh my goodness, I might get choked up. I have gone back in some of my journals, and
you
I've
have
looked,
to. Yes.
and I just thought, wow, Katie, really, you felt it, you went through it, you um, honored the times, the hard times, the glimmers of hope, like all the love lost. You've just honored all of that to really, um, I don't know, to go through that mess. And last year also, so divorce, mother passing away, and in the beginning of the year, though, before everything really unraveled, I was baptized again,
Oh,
and God was just doing something different in my life. I just felt this call, and so I had this strength that was not really present in me before that time. And so yeah, I have to really, yeah, it felt so different, because I didn't feel alone in any of those times. I
yeah.
didn't feel alone. Even when I was, technically alone here, I truly felt God was with me. And
Mm,
when my mom was passing, and I was with my sisters, we just felt she was going home, and the my entire world shifted. And
mm.
then through that time, after both of those things happened and we went through the process, that was also a really beautiful time, because my motto is open mind, open heart.
Yes.
Every day, just waking up, and okay, what's going to be in store for me today and what can I do? And when I felt overwhelmed, it was just do one thing. What one thing can you do today? What one thing can you
Mhm.
do to make the house yours again? And what one thing can you do to set yourself
Love that.
up financially? And all those one things eventually add up. And then that was a hard time, scary. I wondered, oh my gosh, am I going to be alone forever? Oh my goodness. What's the single life going to be like? Oh my gosh. I'm just going to hang out with my friends. I really got to a place too. I thought this was important for me at least, because I am a pretty independent person. I had to get to a place where I thought I don't need to have anyone.
Okay. That I honestly think that that is such a pivotal
Mm,
moment that
mhm.
that you must reach before you go into the next
Yes.
relationship if you choose to do that or not,
Yeah.
because that definitely was something that occurred for myself too.
Did it
Because I
good.
also, well, I'm also a codependent. I'm a people pleaser. I have,
Yeah.
all these things that I've gone through over the years. And when I left my husband, I took quite a bit of time
Hmm.
to figure out. First, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't in touch with my spirituality, so my
Mm,
timeline really was much longer because I
mm.
was flailing on,
Yeah.
I didn't have an anchor.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yes.
grounded into something that that was bigger than me. And
Mm,
so but I did come around to that place where I was like, I'm good on my own. I'm
mm.
good. I don't need anything. I don't need
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah.
And in fact, when I met my current partner, I certainly wasn't in the market even to
Yeah.
find a new partner. It was like, if you're with me, great. If you're not with me, great.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of how it was. And that was such a big shift for me because that
Yes.
was always like I
Yeah.
wasn't anyone unless I was with someone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
wow, I'm so happy
Yeah.
you came around to that because that's a really pivotal spot. Keep going.
It was. Yeah. No, I agree. And it just kind of clicked one day, I have to say, where I said that and I really came to terms with it. I remember telling my best girlfriend, I really am going to be okay. I've got this. I feel like I'm on solid ground. I really enjoy life. I am happy in my heart and my soul. I have everything I need. I feel sometimes like I'm the most blessed, luckiest person in the world. I get to work with this whole community, and I thought, if I'm going to spend time with someone, it's just because I want to, and it's not
Yeah.
because I need to or I need to be in a relationship. And yeah, it's funny you also talked about healing and time because I really work fast, and I was remember talking to another friend of mine, a gentleman who recently went through a divorce as well. We kind of did it around the same time. And I remember saying, isn't there like a 30 or 60-day like healing plan that I can sign up for? Because that would be so great. Uh, and he's like, yeah, it does not work that way. Funny, we saw each other on the hiking trail and had that conversation. And that was part of our healing was getting out on trails and such. But once I had that mindset and it felt like I was just free and open, like a flower, I was just like, I'm ready to do life and whatever it comes, I'm going to be open and have fun. And I would like to learn discernment and I would like to just enjoy the things in life that I feel like I've missed out on for a really long time.
Oh, I would
And
like to learn discernment.
yeah, oh girl, I was that
That's it.
something you
I
went
don't want
through
to
too?
gloss over that because that is a big deal to be
Yeah.
able to discern. Just, I mean, I don't know if you can talk a little bit about what's because,
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone understands the difference between, you want to share just a little bit about what that feels like for you? How do you know? What does discernment mean to you?
Oh man.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, this is the kind of stuff I teach and talk about. I mean, it's
Yeah.
important.
I mean, I want to, because of that people pleasing tendency, because of that codependence tendency. And I try not to label myself these things, but it is fascinating when you read a book and you see yourself in all of the pages.
Right.
But I thought I can be really good at making someone else happy. I can be really good at lifting other people up. And I love that about myself too. And I
Yeah,
want,
yeah,
like you, I want to
yeah.
honor
I'm
that.
same.
Want to honor that about myself. I don't want to discount that, and I don't want to stop doing that because that's our
Yep,
nature.
yep.
And but how do I also show up authentically as myself and make sure that I'm going to choose and be around people where I can really be that, and I don't have to contort myself in any shape, fashion, form,
Hmm.
style. And so when something's not right for me, I want to be able to say, hey, this isn't right for me. I've got to
Yeah.
go. And
And
before, I think I learned about myself that I was afraid of hurting someone's feelings or letting someone down. Oh, look at your cat.
yeah, that's Spencer.
Oh,
He always comes up for a little cameo.
Spencer. He's a what kind of
Flame
plane?
tip Simus. Flame
Plane tip.
tips. Yeah, flame
Yes.
tip. But he's not a purebred. He's just part of the litter, but he turned out really perfect, if you ask me.
Cute. Yeah, he looks
But I
perfect.
wanted to ask you, like, when you're making decisions now,
Mm.
how do you know when something is right or is right for you or not?
Okay. So I learned, okay, if anyone takes anything from any of this, it is my gut instinct is,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I again, it makes me really want to tear up. It is spot on. And if I had
No.
just listened, 12 years ago, I would have made different decisions in life. And so I kind of had this promise to myself I am going to always listen to my gut. When I
Mm,
hear that voice talk, I'm going to listen. And if I get confused, I turn down the volume and just watch what people do or don't do. And that will also really tell you, but your gut is women's intuition is strong, it's real, it's powerful.
it is.
Um, and if we can just stay in tune with that and
Mm,
really, really listen, we're going to
and
be okay.
trust it. And trust it.
Yeah. And act on it, right?
Yes, of course.
And so that's where I'm finding myself today. So going through all of that to learn what I've learned about myself and become this kind of, I feel like a new version of myself. I feel like I'm armed with so much more than I had before. I'm grateful for my marriage. I am grateful for this person that I've been close to for a long time. And I'm also grateful for the disillusion and who I am today because of it. And yeah, it's a very interesting to look back to see the chain of events. And I'm so appreciative of being around people like you and these authors and teachers and coaches who really help us in those messy times kind of figure a few things out, put a few pieces in place,
Yeah.
start to learn a little bit more about ourselves and not turn our backs on ourselves, or a lot of people, which I have read a lot about too, addiction and such, not numb out or turn away from those things, but really show up and feel them, feel all the feels, go through all the motions, and then watch to see the magic on the other side of them
Oh,
because it's so beautiful. It
it
is.
is. I got to, and this is the reason why we're having this conversation is because I've watched you
Mm.
because you're very public
Yes,
because of your role in the community.
sure.
And I've always admired you, but I saw a light turn on in you
Yeah.
that I didn't see before.
Yeah.
And that was when I reached out to you. I was like, Katie, I know what that is. Because I know, I remember, I mean, I can look at pictures of myself years ago and versus now, it's like I can see the light in myself. And
Yeah.
so when you spot it, you got it, right? I can see
Yeah.
it in you. And
Yeah.
that's why I wanted, I just got chills because I want you to share.
Yes.
So now keep going. I just knew that you would have something powerful to share here. So I'm just so happy that you've been able to connect with yourself, been able to start trusting and acting on that still small voice inside of
Mhm.
you or that gut feeling because
Mhm.
our bodies don't lie. Our bodies know. I
Yes.
just created a new little freebie. Your body knows five signs that your body's communicating with you. It's like,
Yes.
it could be the stomach, it could be chills, it could be,
Yes.
whatever. But so now, fast forward now to
Sure.
I know you haven't been, it hasn't been like 5 years. It's
Hmm.
been a shorter span of
Hmm.
time, but
Yes.
to your point, when you do the work and
Hmm.
you go deep and you take the time and you don't
Hmm.
suppress, you don't repress, you allow yourself to feel the feels so that you can heal it,
Hmm.
you really can come out on the other side. And that's why, I mean, I can see it in you physically. I mean, your
Yes.
body has changed.
Yeah. So
You're
much.
just so much different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, and thank you for all of that. And I will share, to your point about, you know, things that can happen to you when you do stuff down. My arthritis got really
Mm,
bad, was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I had a lot of health issues. And I thought, gosh, and now looking back, I see that I was painting the plant. I was stuffing. I wasn't being my authentic self. I was trying to figure out this relationship and probably just a lot of masking and a lot of just show up and be happy and show up and be happy. And I think that did come through my body in a multitude of ways. And so once I could, once those chains were broken, it was like, I just felt like, in fact, I talk about it in one of my posts on social media. It was almost like an arrow was being pulled back. And then once everything kind of released, I just could shoot up I'm still soaring. It feels so good. But so I started to think about, okay, well, if I am going to date again, if it happens, what on earth am I going to look for? Like, I don't even, what am I attracted to? What's important to me? And so, yeah, I had a few coffees, very, very casual, just nothing serious at all. Um, and I remember someone saying, like, I was asking about, religion or spirituality. Oh, I really don't have time for any of that. I'm so busy. And I thought, okay, Katie, that you go write that down because that's really important to you. And so I kind of was having just a few of these, epiphanies, and I just started to write out a list. What are my non-negotiables? And
mm.
I hate to be that person that's like,
No, there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that. It's
yeah,
important, I think.
yeah. Well, in the beginning, I thought, gosh, am I being, is this too much? But I thought, you know what? You didn't do this before. And if you had, things may be different. And so
Yeah.
just write it out. And again, follow your gut, follow your heart. And I wrote out this list, and it wasn't huge. It's got like 10 things on it, which I thought, wow, should I add more? Again, self-conscious. Should I add more? Is that enough? Is
Totally.
it not enough? Whatever. And, and then I was introduced to someone through a coworker and started to get to know him. And I was like, I went to my coworker and I said, he's got everything on my list, like every single thing. This is amazing. Super family oriented and Christian and sober and aware and present and works on himself every single day and just all of these things. And he's a cowboy. And where does this person even come from? And so I'm finding myself today just in what I call my adventure era. I just decided, when I was starting to put myself out there and do what I wanted to do, what made me happy, and going on my hikes and whatever, I just said, I'm going to be in my adventure era right now. And I'm going to say yes. I read the book, The
The
Year
Year
of
of Yes.
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 Yeah, so good.
That's such a good book. Oh, that's a
And
great book to read, everybody. If you haven't read The Year of Yes, was it Shonda Rhimes, right?
yes.
Yes.
And, for those of you also who like Audible, I listen to it on Audible. And so I
Me
can
too.
pull it up on my phone and listen to any chapter at any time. And what else? There's another one. Oh, my goodness. It's the one about, oh gosh, I can't believe a cheetah.
I don't know. A lion?
A
A
cheetah in the
leopard?
wild. Oh man. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Okay, well, I will put it in the comments later when I go
Okay.
and find it. Oh gosh, but it's another just great one, just about living your authentic life. And so, anyhow, yeah. So, cut to today, and I see this whole world has opened up for me. Like
Mm.
life unfolded in such a beautiful manner. I could not have even imagined it or pictured it. I see the world in a totally different lens. I've always seen the world through pretty positive rose-colored glasses, but now it's real and it's right in front of me real, and it's meeting my needs and the standards that I have. And I've been discerning about things, and I've, questioned a few things just to make sure. And listening to my gut, everything just feels right. And there are times too that I do, think, well, are you sure? Is it too fast? Is it this? Is it, and I'll just say, Katie, just sit with it for another day and then ask those questions again, and let's go through that again. That way I'm not trying to shy away from something, but sometimes I do get in my own head and overthink. And so instead of acting, I just say, let's give it 24 hours and then let's think about those things again, and circle back to see where you are. And
Oh,
sure enough, that voice, that feeling in your belly, that will tell you.
mm,
So life is pretty good today. Life is amazing today. It feels like I'm still shooting forward like an arrow. It feels like there's a lot of love in life. There's pictures on my wall again that make me really happy. There's plans for the
mhm,
future that I'm so looking forward to, and I'm just grateful for this path, for the things that that happened that were hard when I was younger, for the hardships I had as an adult. Um, for even going through that time I got to spend with my mom as she was passing. That was such
mhm.
a special time with my sisters and I, and my mom, just to learn so much more. And it really, all of those pain points have brought me to so much happiness today, and have taught me so much about life and what's really important: to follow my gut, to follow my instincts, and not to shy away from the hard stuff too,
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for what I'm picking up, and I feel the same way about my life. It's like the hard things that we go through. It's like you can look back and you can see how all of those things had to happen so that you could arrive here and be in this state of gratitude and allowing yourself to be led,
Yeah.
right? Trusting yourself, being patient. I always like
Mm.
to think trust, be patient, repeat.
Yeah.
Trust, be patient, repeat. And that's not the easiest thing for sure, but you are just an example of exactly that. And I just know there's so many great things in store for for the rest of your life. And I'm going to be on the sidelines cheering you
Aw.
on. And you're going to be hiking the Grand Canyon, if I recall.
Yes, yeah.
I'd
So
love to do that too. Oh, I would love to do that. You had to get on a waiting list to do that, didn't you?
yes, yeah, there's actually a lottery system. I mean, it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that, I was asked to do, be a part of this small group, and I just was like, I'm terrified. And I started to say, well, I need to read about it and I need to learn more. And my boyfriend said, why don't you just come experience it with me? And I said,
Oh.
okay, all right, I'm in. Just sign me up. Let's go. And we'll do the research later. So a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that kind of adventure. And just want to say thank you. Thank you for all you do to, lift women up and help share our stories. And it truly is how we heal. And I think it removes some of that shame of disappointment in one another, or in ourselves, when we can hear someone else speak from their heart and go, gosh, that resonates with me, or I've been there before. And it
Yeah.
makes us all stronger as a community.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much for your time today, Katie. This was wonderful. It was everything that I knew it would be. And I'll be putting information below this video about Katie and the resources that we talked about in the video. I'll go back through and listen and put those notes in the notes underneath it as well. But again, thank you for your time,
Mm,
and we will be in touch. I'm sure we'll be talking soon. So,
yes,
all right,
sounds good.
thanks.
Thank you.